Hello everyone, Fro here. Welcome to today's presentation. So guys, today's presentation is going to be a little bit more on the inspirational, on the motivational or the coaching side of things. So we're not going to be talking about the typical technology videos that we do, but I just wanted to take this time to talk about self-improvement. This is something that a lot of people already know about. You might be clicking on this. You have read a lot of self-improvement books, watch a lot of self-improvement videos, know maybe some gurus in this space, and it's a very fascinating area. It's a very fascinating industry. I'm a huge fan of self-improvement. I believe everybody should be improving themselves every single day, right? Whether you're just talking about your individual self, your career, your relationships, your finances, your health, everything can be improved, right? And self improvement has is a great avenue to do that. Now, I want to talk about self improvement in this video with a specific focus on career, with a specific focus on your career as an IT professional. On this channel, my focus is making videos around technology tips, career advice, and inspiration. So, how do we, as technology professionals, elevate our career to be successful and to achieve the goals that we want to achieve as professionals? And the realization that it's that you don't succeed only by just learning technology. We all know that by now. At least I would hope you know that by now. All right, technology is one piece of being successful as a technology professional. Now, there are other things that you need to succeed. I can come up with a list of 500 of them or thousands of them. But if you want to condense that and say, what is the one skill that if you focus on this one skill and you gain mastery of that skill, you would begin to leap and go ahead of your competition, ahead of your peers, and make it to the top of any organization that you work with. All right, this skill is golden, and not a lot of people talk about it. All right, especially as tech professionals, I realize that not a lot of people are talking about this skill, and I'm taking some time here to lay the ground because once I talk what the skill is, some people would immediately dismiss what it is, but do so at your own peril, because this is one of the skills that is very, very, very crucial. Now, before I talk about what the skill is, before I write what that one skill is, and this is not a list of 10 skills, it's just one skill, I want to share with you a little story. And this story is about, at the company that I work for, and we had this really amazing event. It's something that we have year round. And so this event was at a location, all right? And then we had this VP, vice president of some division, and this guy got on stage, all right? And there was a room full of people, hundreds, if not thousands of people. And this guy got on stage. Oh la la. He spoke with so much charisma, so much energy, so much confidence. And it was just like, when somebody speaks and you just get it, but there is this certain je ne sais quoi about that where you just are convinced, right? These are the kind of people that can get on stage and sell ice to Eskimos, right? But not the kind of sleazy kind of salespeople, but just charisma, all right? And this is the skill that this guy executed, was able to demonstrate. And so there I was sitting somewhere in the crowd, right? I'll put myself in red there. And I'm sitting in the crowd, and this guy is he just wows everybody in that crowd with this presentation. It was a product demonstration, and he just like blew it out the park. And I sat there and I said to myself, this guy is a vice president, right? And this is one of those kind of people that you just know instantly that they are kind of like the rising stars in the organization. Sooner or later, he's going to become some C-level and maybe even go beyond that at some point. You can just see it and know. And I was asking myself, sitting in that crowd somewhere in there, asking myself, what is it about this person that makes them so compelling, that makes them so even deserving of that VP level position, that all everybody in this crowd is looking up to them for them to make this thing happen. All right. And that question was bubbling through my head for quite a bit. And I kind of distilled it into this one skill. All right. And I know it might sound like cliche, but just bear with me. All right. this one skill, and that skill is communication, your ability to communicate. If there is any one skill you want to work on as a technology professional, guys, and grow in your career, not everybody wants to grow in their career, but if you want to grow and you have any ambition of going higher, leadership, a team lead, a manager, or anything of that level, not to talk about VP, CIO, CTO, and all of that stuff, you have to work on your communication skill. You have to work on it. All right. Now, let's dive a little bit into this. I have friends that I have communications with, communication skills, communications. So I have friends that I talk with. And one of the things that would always come up is, I'll talk about I'm going somewhere to give a talk, or I'm making some YouTube videos. I'm going to be presenting somewhere. And you know what? This person will go to a corner somewhere and they tell me I am not a communication person. I hate to talk. I don't like to present. It's none of my business. Just don't sign me up. All right. And for some reason, they would say something like this and almost brag to say like, I'm not a good communicator, so why even bother me with this? And they say with so much ambivalence or so much confidence that you might almost feel like it's a badge of honor to not be a good communicator. All right. But that's horrible. That's horrible. I don't know what world it is we live in where somebody who cannot communicate would be seeing that as a badge of honor, right? And saying, all right, I'm just a geek, I'm just a technologist person, I can write my Java code, so that's all I need to care about. And they almost see that as a badge of honor. I don't know what circles people roll in, but if you are in a circle or a group of people who kind of have this kind of mentality, you probably are in a very wrong circle. And you might want to change that circle. All right, because communication matters, and it's irrelevant whether you are a janitor or you are a tech programmer or anywhere in between, a manager. You have to be able to communicate. All right, this is one of the most crucial skills that you can master as a technology professional. I don't know if schools really do a good job of teaching communication, and I don't mean communication for people who want to go be communication measures. I mean just your day-to-day interpersonal communication, your day-to-day social interactions, and all of that. This is a vital skill, and if you haven't made a note somewhere in your book, in your diary, to work on your communication skills, please do. All right, you will thank me later. You'll come back to this video and thank me later that you did. Communication skill is one of the most powerful. Now, while I talk about communication skills, a lot of people might say, all right, communication skill means to talk, right? It means that, all right, I can look at this VP here, I go on stage, and if I can give some amazing, compelling presentation, I am a great communicator. Even though that is true, it just goes to re-emphasize the lack of understanding of what communication really is about. All right, and that's really the case. So communication is about talking, yes, but it's more about that. All right. So most people know about communication as how to talk, right? You go on stage, you give your talk, and you present, and all of that. That's great. All right. But there's another communication skill too, which is that of listening. All right. There's a saying that we have, one mouth, two ears, because we should listen twice as much as we talk. For people who are married, I'm sure there might be some agreement here or some consensus that a vast majority of marriages, I don't have the exact statistics on this, that breakdown, and you go in and you're asking the couples and you're asking them what went wrong, they will point to the fact that, well, communication broke down. All right. Countries are going to war, and you ask it, they say, oh, communication breakdown. When communication breaks down, there is trouble. There is trouble. And if you go back to the example of the marriages, when the wife is feeling like the husband doesn't listen, there is gonna be trouble, right? And then because she's gonna talk and then he doesn't listen, and then she's gonna talk more, and then it's just gonna be this mess that always ends up in people not being very happy. So communication is not just about talking, but also listening. All right, and then I'm gonna add some more here. All right, body language. All right, body language. This is key. A lot of people just, again, when they think about communication, they think about, all right, can I talk? Can I listen? Yeah, I check off those boxes. But what about your body language? All right. Have you ever been in a situation where you're talking to somebody, or you are communicating with your boss, and you're telling them a project you're working on, and you can just read their body language, and just know that your boss is pissed off at you and you need to go do some corrective actions. That is communication. All right. It is say a vast majority of communication doesn't happen through talking or listening. It actually happens through body language. And so we have to be able to, as technology professionals, to build these communication skills, control our body language, be able to take charge of that, and actually develop a competency. All right, this is not something that you just, for some people it comes naturally, right? I mean, we have to admit that. But for others, we have to put in the effort to learn this thing, right? It's just like we put in effort to learn how to write code in Python. We put in effort to learn how to write code in Django or Scala or Haskell or whatever language that you want, no matter how obscure it is. And most technology professionals are already good. This we're talking about high IQ people here that can learn all kind of complex stuff. All right. So I understand that some of these things might seem complex, but you can certainly learn it, and it's in your best interest. It's in everyone's best interest. No matter if you just want to be a technology professional and don't care about leadership, but it's still in your best interest to learn some of these pillars of communication. I can go on and on, right? Talking here, you can have certain things like tonality, right? How do you speak? What is the tone you use? This is something that I personally too work on. This is not something that I can go out and beat my chest to say, you know what, I know this, I'm all problem solved, I got this. All right. I also work on it, controlling my tonality. There are times when I want to emphasize and say, all right, this is what we're going to do here. All right. And I push that. And then there are times where I'm going to, slow down, take it back a little bit, and be more calm, and in explaining what I need to do. But you can control your tonality based on that, and you come across in different ways, right? If you want to be more strong, if you want to be more welcoming, if you want to be more compassionate, you can always control your tonality and be able to use that to your advantage. All right, and there are many videos. I don't even want to go into this because I'm not an expert, but I can guarantee you that if you just go on YouTube and search for tonality, you will see videos that are abundant in there for you to work on that. And just to recap this whole idea of communication here, the reason why, going back, this VP, when I talked about sitting in the crowd and watching this VP doing his thing, it boils down, and the reason why he's a VP basically and earning VP money, vice president level money, and the status and the prestige that it comes with it boils down to this idea of they are a good communicator. I doubt if this guy will be a VP for a very long time if he could not communicate, if he could not get the point across, and such. All right. And some of the added benefits of communication you would ask is influence. All right, influence. You cannot really influence people if you cannot communicate. All right, whether you're talking about influencing your wife, influencing your kids, influencing some girl to go out on a date with you, influencing your team to work on a project, influencing some vendor to work with your company, influencing somebody to buy your product. Everything in life is predicated on some form of influence. Either you're being influenced or somebody's influencing you. And the people who rise to the top, make the money, and get all the prestige and the good status are the people who can influence. All right. And the people who can influence, if you go back, they are great communicators. So this is again going to re-emphasize the fact that if you have ever doubted or not thought about honing in on your communication skills, guys, hopefully this idea will give you a reminder that it's essential to be a great communicator, right? Just think about going for an interview. I can tell you how many people I coach or that will come to me with questions, and part of it is about going for an interview, and they're just wanting some help and tips and tricks about how to do an interview process. But what I have to just remind them, an interview is just a communication process. All right. All of these things that we talked about comes into play. You're going to be talking. your tonality, how persuasive are you, that all comes into play. How you listen to the people who are interviewing you, it all comes into play. Your body language, right? I interview people, I can see a body language of somebody and I can tell instantly if this person is going to be a good fit or not, all right? And people make judgments based on that. All right. Can you even influence the people, the hiring manager to hire you? It all boils down to communication. So, guys, I just cannot. I can go on and on and on and on and on why communication is the most vital skill you really should be focusing on as a technology professional, in addition to all the other stuff. I'm a believer that learning technology, for the most part, once you grasp a thing or two, the rest, I mean, most technology professionals, they get it. You can always learn a new programming language, a new technique. Is not usually very difficult. But these are some of the soft skills. We all know soft skills that it takes years, it takes effort, it takes commitment. It's naturally scary, but it's vital. It's vital. All right. On your team, if you are the person that communicates great, you get your point across. Oh, the benefits just are just immeasurable, right? Because then you gain influence. With influence, you gain more status. With status, you get power. With power, you get money. With money, you climb up. I mean, there's just so many benefits, right? Money is not just everything, but influence might not be everything. Power might not be anything. But what is it you care about? Whatever it is you care about, all right, autonomy or whatever it is that influences you as a professional, as a worker, communication can give that to you. So, I thought I'll make this video just to really beat home this point for anyone who has ever doubted or ever wondered, what should I focus my time on? What should I be developing? In addition to whatever you've put in your development list, guys, if you haven't put communication in there, go back and find a place for it. All right. This is not something that you can just wing it. You can just, it's just like, you know, you can't just wake up in the morning and just say, all right, we'll just see how it goes. And hopefully I'll be a good communicator and just kind of wing it as such, right? Something that's so impactful for your life, you definitely want to give it more priority than just hoping that things will just kind of play out. All right. It's just like waking up and saying, well, this Python thing, I'm not really going to put in the effort or buy the books or go through the courses or watch videos to learn how to be a good Python programmer. I'm just going to wing it. And hopefully someday, if everything works out well, I'll just learn how to write Python. All right. It just does not work that way. So I don't understand why for things like this, we don't put in that effort, the commitment to learn this. And the question I'll have for you is, what effort have you put in to build your communication skills proactively, not just reactive, not just what comes by, but what are you actively doing to say, all right, I'm doing this and this and this and this to be a better communicator? There are a lot of things that you can do. All right. There are a lot of things. You can take courses online. All right. I'm going to leave some in the description below as recommendation. All right. One of the things that I've actually personally done, and I need to do more of it, was doing improv, right? And even like stand-up comedy. I used to, go to my local comedy bar and get on stage, and I'm not known to be the most funny person in the room, right? I think when I get on stage, the only thing that's funny looking is my face. But I got into I was doing stand-up comedy just to again build that communication skills, getting used to being on stage and the crowd. And naturally, I'm always talking to people, presenting and being leading conversations, leading demonstrations, leading workshops. And so I naturally, I think I'm lucky that I feel comfortable in front of people. But for some other people, it's not natural to them, right? They're not used to being in front of people. So you have to put yourself in positions that forces you to get comfortable in front of people. All right. They say the second or maybe the first fear that people have in the world is fear of crowds. I was shocked when I saw that. Like, people literally would like sweat to their teeth. Some will even start getting fever, right? If they have to go in front of a crowd. That's how bad it is. So you can always train yourself to get used to that small, maybe talking to a smaller group, and things like that. And before going to like the stand-up comedy club I used to go to, that had just about on a good day we might have 15, 20, 30 people. That's safe. I'm not like Dave Chappelle or Kevin Hart or somebody that has to go to talk to thousands of people and maybe millions of people watching me on TV. So in that safe space I can practice, and if my jokes are not funny, guess what, I can just laugh with everybody, right? Some people might be laughing at me, but I'll prefer them laughing with me, right? So but stand-up comedy, it takes me out of my zone, and that was helpful. Improv too is another great one. There are a lot of improv courses online that you can take, or if you find an improv club around you, you can join, and that would definitely help you, believe it or not. All right. Or just even creating content, right? Create content. Put yourself in a position where you are forced to speak. Don't wait for that time to come before you speak. Just speak. All right. Just go out and start making presentations like I'm doing. All right. Start a podcast. Start a YouTube channel. It might be difficult to start a radio show and host that, but whatever it is, create content. All right, and create content in the area that you might be deficient in. Here I didn't put write as well. I should have put write here, because write is another important aspect of communication, right? Because as professionals, you're not only just talking, listening, body language, and all of that, but you might have to write an email, you might have to write a summary, you might have to write a report, and all of that. You will not imagine the amount of people that, if they go through a project and you have them to write a summary report of that project, they have no clue how to write. Maybe the English is so bad, they don't check grammar, it's not logical, everything might just be a mess. So I really did not put writing here, but writing should be key. All right. So going back here, you might start a blog or write a book. All right. And that would build your writing skill. It's going to build your thinking skill, because you have to think and write, right? So not only are you getting good at whatever it is you're learning and you're working with, but you're building content to validate your skill as an expert, and you end up being an expert in that area. So the benefits, guys, can just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I could spend the end of this video talking about some of those benefits that you will see, but definitely something that you want to check out, definitely something that you want to work on. Don't wing it. Don't wing it. This is not something that you can just say, wow, I will see. Guys, if you have any hope of climbing in your career, communication is something that you want to zero in on. You might want to work on a little bit. And if you need help, or if you have any tips or tricks or things that you've kind of picked up that works for you, guys, please share it. I think everybody can benefit from everyone else, and just by you sharing that tips and tricks, guys, that's part of communication, right? You're making your voice heard, you're making your name known, and sooner or later you're going to be building your influence. All right, and who knows where that might take you. So just double down on this, and this could really be the game changer for your career. All right, guys. Well, I think this brings us to the end of this particular presentation for today. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully I did cover the important points for this. This is such a powerful topic. If you like this video, please do make sure you show the support by liking it, sharing it with somebody that might get value out of it, subscribing if you haven't subscribed to this channel. But more importantly, if you have questions of your own, be it on the technical side or just on the general conversational, inspirational discussions like this that you want me to talk about, don't hesitate to let me know, and I'll see what I can do. I will always try my best to make content that will be relevant and helpful for you guys. All right. Well, thanks for watching. This has been Thru, and I'll see you in the next presentation.